everybody, welcome to Book Expo 2016. And without further ado, I think we're going to let Lisa Coley, the president of the Parapsychology Foundation, give you her welcoming remarks.
Hello there, everybody. I'm sitting in Manhattan this afternoon, 2:15 on a sunny Saturday. I don't exactly know where you are and what time, but it does give me great pleasure. I welcome you all to Parapsychology Foundation's second Book Expo. We take pride in offering you the only intimate meet the author experience in parapsychology, along with presenting quality books on a complex and oftentimes very misunderstood issue. We believe this program will go a long way to help us to understand various phenomena which some of us experience as part of the human condition. All that is required of you is in your innate curiosity, these topics in hopes of greater understanding. For 65 years, Parapsychology Foundation has maintained the Eileen J. Garrett Research Library, now filled with over 12,000 volumes, periodicals in various languages, gathered from around the world, dedicated to psychology and the science of parapsychology. We're very proud to have included the 5 books that we presented over this weekend to our shelves. Congratulate the authors for their very fine work. The United States just celebrated National Library Week on April 10th through the 16th with its 2016 theme, Libraries Transform. But, of course, it's truly the books that transform, as this Book Expo will soon illustrate. Parapsychology Foundation has long sought and continues to use digital aid to be a leader in community engagement, leading to forums as evidenced by our commitment with our biannual Book Expo program, as well as our international affiliate program, forums, and future online ES Lyceum teaching directors, along with our prospective lecture series consisting of both our classic lectures, future ones to be presented. Strive at all times to improve understanding of our field and entice others to our efforts of getting answers to the questions raised by ostensible psychic functioning. As reading improves understanding, including the understanding of life as we know it, perhaps we will have better luck in adopting, adapting, accommodating, and enlarged understanding of our world too. As reading connects you with the world, and certainly this Expo's authors do just that, I leave you with a quote by André Maurois before I turn you over to your moderators, Dr. Nancy Ciccone and Dr. Carlos Alvarado. I quote, "The art of reading, in great part that of acquiring better understanding of life from one's encounter with it in a book," unquote. So then, let's just start turning those pages, and I give you back Nancy. Thank you.
So I'm Nancy Ciccone, for those of you who don't know me, and I think everybody does. And I'd like to say welcome to everybody to this afternoon's event, which will also have an iteration tomorrow. And thank you so much, Lisa, for those really wonderful comments. I love that quote. We have a lot of people from around the world here. I know we have someone from Netherlands, and Yanni's here from Finland. And let's see, New Mexico, Maryland, over here in Cary. And Supa, where are you from? So welcome, guys. We're going to be at this from 2:15 to 6:30 p.m. today. We're not going to talk a whole lot longer right now, but we'll give you a tour through what is going to be happening, and then we'll be back tomorrow afternoon from 1:15 to 4:30 p.m., something like that. And welcome, Elaine. So you're going to see those wonderful faces again in a minute. This is the schedule of the event. We have 3 presenters today, and then a brief closing session at 6 p.m. We have 2 presenters tomorrow, and then a longer closing session because we have some PF news that we want to impart during the closing session tomorrow. Now, I'm not going to read out all of this now because we'll have the bios and the book information in each of the individual sessions. We are very delighted to have Jim Carpenter with us. He's the past president of the Parapsychological Association. clinical psychologist in practice here in the Triangle area in North Carolina. He's been with us in the field for a very long time, which is not to say anything mean. He's just worked on this since he was a college student and has been steadily gathering data and writing research articles and doing some very important work for the field. So we're very happy to have him with us. His book, First Sight, ESP, and Parapsychology in Everyday Life, is one of our academic books on this list. It's his theory of how this all works. And basically, second sight is not the thing. This is not an add-on ability. This is something that's integral to who we are as human beings. As I go along, I want to say that all of the PowerPoints are up in the course schedule, and you can download them and get the live links for buying the books and going out to the websites of the speakers and so on. The second speaker up today is Dr. Zofia Weaver. She is a past editor of the Journal of the Society for Psychical Research and also the Proceedings of the Society for Psychical Research, and was also involved in another book on Stefan Osowiecki, who's a medium, with Mary Rose Barrington and Dr. Ian Stevenson. So her book this time will be on Other Realities, the Enigma of Fraude Kluski's Mediumship. And this should be very interesting because I think she's probably the one person in the world who knows this much about Fraude Kluski and his mediumship, the phenomena, and so on. And Carlos, of course, will be in the chat to add things as we go along, but this is going to be a very good presentation, I think. And the third presentation today, welcome Benton, is Patricia Pearson. This is one of our two popular books that we've pulled in. They're really good books, and Patricia is an excellent researcher. She's also a journalist, and I recommend that you take a look at her personal website because she's very funny. The way she writes reminds me a lot of Mark Twain, to be honest. So you'll see this again, and we'll be reading it out in her session. And her book came out of personal experiences with near-death awareness experiences, as she calls them, when the person who is dying is starting to have experiences, what we would call deathbed witnesses, of where they're going to be going and what they think is happening. And this was a collection that she put together from that experience, and then going out as an investigative reporter and finding out more about the experiences of others. So this should also be a good session. Then tomorrow we've got Stephen E. Braude, who's a professor emeritus of philosophy from the University of Maryland in Baltimore County. He has, as you can tell, written lots and lots of books. And is one of the clearest thinkers in the field, and he's also written more than 60 philosophical essays as well. He's now retired in Las Vegas, Nevada, which means that he's working harder than ever. And you can see him frequently on the new Thinking Aloud YouTube channel. His book for today is Crimes of Reason on Mind, Nature, and the Paranormal, which should be an extremely interesting look at the way our field fares in the public world and how we need to be thinking about some of these things. He's very clear, and it's a lot of his essays pulled together, and I think you're going to really enjoy this. And as I said, these PowerPoints are downloadable, so you will also have links to where to buy the books and all that good stuff. Our final speaker tomorrow will be Cal Cooper, who's a doctoral student at University of Northampton and an instructor, and is doing very interesting research. He's hoping to submit his dissertation in the fall. He's going to be talking to us about a book that is not his most recent effort, but certainly one of the most interesting to us, with the Parapsychology Foundation connected to D. Scott Rogo, who wrote the original phone calls from the dead. Cal has pulled this work together again, done a new case collection, and that's what the content of telephone calls from the dead is about. He's also, we're happy to say, one of the Garrett Scholars from 2009, so he received some help in his Northampton career. And this is the cover of the book, and information about how this book is in many ways a successor to Phone Calls from the Dead, which came out in 1979, but it's also an extension and a new case collection. So this should be a very, very interesting presentation as well. And you'll get in this PowerPoint, which you can download off of the course, and at the end of every of the individual opening PowerPoints, links to either buy the book from the publisher or from Amazon. And in this case, there's a promo code for a discount, so that's always a good thing. And you can also download this PowerPoint as well, and you'll get the same types of links. So I'm going to talk just very, very, very briefly about what we call the housekeeping. So when you get into the classroom, say hello in the chat. Let us know where in the world you're from. If you can hear the audio and someone is speaking, please say that in the chat. That helps us know that everybody's on the same page as we are. If you can't hear anything, try logging out and logging back in. If that doesn't work and you come back in and you still can't hear anything, let us know, because sometimes we have other ideas of how to get that audio functioning again. And we also have access to live chat support through the WizIQ network. If the sound is way too quiet or way too loud, there's a speaker icon that's all the way up to the right-hand side, just above my head. To the right-hand side, there's a little speaker icon, and you click on that. And when it comes up, you'll see advanced settings in the lower right-hand side of the dialog box. You can click there, and that will take you back to your initial screen where you can test your technology, or you can simply move that little toggle along the sliding bar and change the volume from very low to very high or somewhere in between. Feel free to comment as we go along. The chat box is always available to you, and we encourage an active chat. Not only can you talk if you don't change any settings, it says to all, you can just type in the chat and say hello. You can change your font size or font color if you want to be distinguished from the crowd. You can put in an icon. That little happy face at the very right-hand side of the chat box is an icon bar, which has a lot of wonderful things in there that you can use. And those of you who've been with us before are old hands, clapping hands usually, at using that system. If you have serious questions of the speaker, however, try not to put those in the chat while they're talking, unless they invite you to kind of punctuate their conversation while they go along. Some speakers like using the chat, and others don't really like to pay attention to it until they're finished. And then at the end, we'll have a formal question and answer period. The speakers are all shooting for 20 to 30 minutes of a discussion about their book and the process, the reception, and what they're going to do next, all those kinds of things. And when they're finished, then there will be about a 10 to 15 minute Q&A period, so we can give everybody a break of 10 to 15 minutes before that talk that we're in the very next talk. And then we always ask to be kind-hearted and friendly about, and above all, patient. Not supposed to say above all, I didn't notice that this morning. And above all, patience, because every once in a while we're going to get a technological glitch, either us or possibly you guys. You never know. It's the thing. So normally they get worked out pretty quickly, and the calmer and more patient we are, the easier that will be. And sometimes we get lucky if we don't have any, so that's what we're hoping for today. And let me see if I have one more slide. I do not. So I'm going to go back to the front slide, and I'm going to say, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat now, and we can answer them for you. Probably what we'll do is just spend a couple more minutes doing that, and then you'll have a nice big break before we get to Jim Carpenter, who is the next. He'll be talking. Let me go back to his slide. We will be talking at 3 p.m. Eastern on First Sight. He's uploaded his entire First Sight presentation PowerPoint called Psi is Not an Anomaly, and that's available for you to download or to watch it on the WizIQ system. There's he says he's not going to use all of it. He wants to talk a little bit about the concepts before he goes off to talk about how he put the book together and how it's doing and so on. So if anybody has a question or a comment or anything, and you can put it in the chat right now. And Suba, I see your hands up. I'm not quite sure why. Yeah, I think they're going to be good. And as you know, if you've been on the Parapsychology Foundation YouTube channel recently, the book expo that occurred in November and December of 2015 is now all up there with opening and closing sessions and all of the talks in between, and that's our plan for this one as well. Anybody else have any comments or questions? Parapsychology is the science of studying, it's a scientific study of psychic phenomena. That's how the Parapsychology Foundation likes to explain it. And I think for, it has a wider definition. There's lots of different definitions. But basically, it's a science that studies extrasensory perception, clairvoyance, telepathy, out-of-body experiences, mediumship. Welcome, Marla. All kinds of after-death experiences, near-death experiences, deathbed witness experiences, a whole variety of experiences that people regularly have and regularly report, but mainstream science tends to say, no, they don't exist. And basically our point is, yes, in fact, they do exist. And there are explanations that are needed to be gotten for these phenomena. People are interested in them. They want to know more. There's certainly a lot of people who are developing their psychic abilities and are having even more types of experiences than the average person. So that's kind of the range of what parapsychology studies. And there's lots of ways to look at it from the experiencer point of view, from a spiritual point of view, and the Parapsychology Foundation mission and vision is to provide, to be a clearinghouse of information and a supporter and someone that provides library services and so on, good information about the scientific study of these phenomena. So using the tools of psychology, anthropology, physics, and so on. So it's a very big discipline, and there are lots of people from different types of sciences who come together to work on it. That's true. It might not be. And it probably, I mean, in India, I would imagine a lot of these phenomena are considered to be cities. They're part of spiritual practices. And so that's another thing that parapsychology studies, the cultural differences in terms of how these experiences are understood and incorporated into local knowledge and into local practice and spiritual practice as well. That's a great question. Anyone else have anything to say? And if not, we'll take our break, and we'll be back at 3 p.m. with Dr. James Carpenter, who will talk about the book First Sight, EFT, and Parapsychology in Everyday Life. All right, well, thanks, everybody, and we will see you back in a little bit less than 20 minutes for Jim Carpenter. So at 3 p.m. Eastern, Jim Carpenter on First Sight, EFT, and Parapsychology in Everyday Life. So we'll see you then. Thank you so much. See you soon.
Hi there, I'm Lisette Coley. I'm president of Parapsychology Foundation, so welcome to our YouTube channel. We have lots to look at, so please check out our videos. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.